Charlie, lead driver trainer. Today we're going to be doing a pre-trip inspection on a CNG vehicle. And I'll show you start to finish, and then you'll know how to do a proper pre-trip inspection before going on the road. Okay, first thing you do, undo your latches, move them away from the hood. Then you go to the other side, the passenger side. You have to do the same procedure. Unlatch, move away from the hood. Always grab the center of the hood and pull to you until you hear it lock. You heard the lock? And that is your lock. As long as that is down, the hood will not come down on you. Okay. Starting at the driver's side, first thing we take a quick look at, power steering pump. Make sure it says cold full. Antifreeze jug, cold full. Washer fluid, full. Then you have your CNG, oxygen scrubber. It scrubs the gas as it comes through before it goes to the engine. It has a pepcock. Turn it to the front. You hear the gas release. Let it go till it stops. Place your hand here, make sure you're not seeing any oil. If oil comes out of here, your truck is out of service. And then turn back towards the cab, just till it stops. You don't have to squeeze it tight. And the next thing you're gonna look at, these are your grease points. You wanna make sure that these aren't looking completely dry. If they are, then you mention it to a lead driver in your end of day, when you tell us how your day went. The next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna look at your front tire. You're gonna check every other to make sure there is no movement. And there's no movement, it's nice and tight. Then this is your wheel seal cover. There's actually fluid in here, and the fluid is right at this level here. If you take your flashlight and shine it in here, you'll see that this hub has fluid in it. It must have fluid in it. Then you move to your air tanks. You just look at them, you make sure there's no damage to them. Same with the stairs. This is your CNG fill point. Most people don't check it before they go on the road, but you should. You should open this up here, open your door, make sure your caps are in place. Make sure this is on, and this is your fluid level is right here. You can close that up once you've checked it. Then you want to do a quick look down along your tank, make sure there's no external damage to your tank that would hamper the use of the truck. Make sure your skirting isn't coming loose. Just give it a light touch. Then you're going to look at your tires. Take your hand, just rub it here. And you're going to rub it here because that's all you can reach on these trucks. That's to ensure there is no large rocks between your wheels. Same thing with your rear hub. You just touch these lightly. If they move, the truck doesn't go out because your hub's gonna leak and you'll have oil down here. The next thing, give your tire a kick. You hear a light thump. Same thing on the inside. If you hear that solid thump, that means your tires are good. Again, your skirt. And then your skirt. Make sure it's not loose, because you don't want these coming off and taking out a car. Here's your liftgate pins. They're all in place. Pin. Make sure they're there. You come around here, you do the same thing. You make sure your pins are in your liftgate here, holding this together. And you just come along, and you come to your next set of pins. Here is the same pin, covers all of this and all of this. Then you can come over here. You have another. This needs to be in place. If this is not in place or this is not in place, that whole system comes apart. Another set of pins here. They're in place. They're good. Then you're going to look at your pump. Make sure your lines aren't wet. Make sure there's no hydraulic fluid on the ground. Just check this. If this doesn't move, it's good. It's solid and in place. Now you're on the other side. As you see, what are we missing?
Skirt.
You're missing a skirt. We'll have already known about it. We will have already written it up. Again, Rear tire, kick, kick, nice solid thump. Again, another skirt, another skirt, another skirt. Tank, look at your tank, following along the bottom. Anything that you do see, which occasionally you'll get these rubs from guys getting too close to something. It's already been reported to us, it's already been pictured. For your own protection, take a picture of it. So you can say, hey, that was there when I got the truck. Now you come up front. Now on both front tanks, there's a door. This door, you need to make sure is nice and secure and can't come off. Because if it does, it's gonna hit the ground, it's gonna go underneath and tear everything up. Some trucks have your side sensor that tells you that somebody's on your passenger side. Some trucks don't. I think most of you have learned what those do. It beeps inside your cab. And it lets you know that there's an object on the right side of your truck. When you get to the passenger side front, it's the same thing. Just check every other, all the way down. If they don't move, it's good and tight. You got another seal right here. Today we're doing it in the sunlight so you can actually see the level is right here, which is good. That's a good solid level. Look at your AC lines just real quick, just to make sure this is not covered in green. It's been a common occurrence with Peterbilt. They leak from right here. If they do, just notify us about it. You're gonna see this wetness. This comes from the turbo clamps. It's okay, you can still drive the truck. If this is soaking wet with oil, notify us, we will put you in a new truck. And you're gonna look down, the same thing. This would be a grease spot here, and this is a grease spot here. These are called your kingpins. If these are completely dry, we'll have already known about it. It's still safe to drive the truck. Then the next thing you're checking, here's your belt. Just give it a quick tug. And then look along your belt for cracks. If there are no cracks, you're good to go. Then you can close this up. Push up, come to the front. At the front, grip, hold, push lightly because it will take off on you. And then hold it all the way in. At the end, give it a little push. And the same thing for when you open, same procedure in reverse. Come up here. These two nipples must match right here or it will not pull the hood. And then all the way down. And then repeat the process on the driver's side. Get it in and then down. Now after you've completed that one part, it's very important. You restart the truck. Turn the key on to generate your gas. This is going to put gas back in that filter that you just drained out. You'll hear all the clicking. When all the clicking of the engine stops, just like a diesel, you're going to hear that. That tells you it's safe to start the truck. Now you saw how long that took. That's building new pressure in that filter that you just released the pressure from. The next step for these drivers, this is your liftgate switch. Turn it on. Come to the back of your truck. Because a lot of times with the post office, you will absolutely have liftgate stop. So I tell all drivers, they should be doing this. Testing the function all the way down. It should auto kick for you. It kicks out. The handle, just bring it out. This whole process is a 10-minute process for the whole inspection. Bring it out all the way. Come all the way up with it. Come all the way down with it. At the same time that you're doing that, these are your hydraulic lines that run these pistons here on both sides. Make sure where you see the yellow markers, you don't see any fluid leaking. If you do, truck out of service. Fold your panel back in. Try not to slam them. Lift this side up with the handle. Bring it down till it touches the ground. And let it go in. Close it back up. Now you hear all that noise that you're hearing right now. That is what we call a lack of grease. After you've done that, you come back and shut the truck off because you're not ready to go yet. Back at all your fluids. Like I said, you're going to check this. Power steering fluid, we don't have this on site on hand. This is from the mechanics. If it's a little low, you can still, if it's even down here, it says add, you can still drive the truck. If this is empty, you cannot drive the truck because you'll blow this pump down here. Antifreeze, if antifreeze is low, this is the fill for the antifreeze, and the antifreeze is kept in the office in the first section. Washer fluid, the same. If washer fluid is low, you have to refill your washer fluid before you go on the road. Now, the thing I didn't show you earlier because I wanted to show you all fluids together, your dipsticks are back here on the Peterbilts. Later we'll show you where they are on the Freightliners. But you'll pull that stick, you will wipe it off completely because the truck ran the day before. It's going to have extra oil on that stick. Then you're going to push it all the way down and then pull it straight back up. And here you'll see we're getting some residual milk, but the fluid is back where it belongs. This truck was down 6 quarts. This milk, we discovered, is actually coming from the filler cap. So you're going to put that back in. You got to come up over here to my hand. Once you put it in straight, then you have to turn it back towards the cab, and that locks that in place so it doesn't walk up. If you don't lock this in place, you will have oil all over the truck because it will blow out. Your filler cap sits back here. Problem we have with the filler cap is somebody was over tightening them, but as you see, that is nice and clean. Brendan, this ran what, 1 day?
1 day, yep.
1 day, and just starting to show the milk after I cleaned the complete thing off. So we know it's coming from the filler caps. And what that causes that is moisture is getting inside, even with the O-ring. You place it back in. After you put your oil in there, and you just turn it till it stops, and then a very slight turn. And that, then you can get it off, and the next driver can get it off. If you over tighten it, it will pull. Can you come here? This entire tube will undo and come out. If that happens, your truck is out of service because that is part of the engine crankcase where the engine oil pump sits right behind it. Good and gooped. But as long as they're good and gooped, this is to your steering shaft. See, and you have another section up here, right? And then it's back here. And if you look, my glasses are tinting because of the sun, because I have photophobia. I can't get complete sunlight.
Yeah.
If you look, it looks wet, but it's not gooped.
Okay.
So which means whatever he got in here, he got a little bit in here, and it just kind of spun out.
Gotcha.
So another thing that I need to add for you folks is always look at your tires. Top, side, any tears, any gouges, any chunks taken out of the rubber. The truck becomes out of service because the tire at that point is considered by DOT standards to be unsafe. And what we meant to mention to you also, DOT checks this fluid, and this fluid. When he opens that hood, these are the 3 major fluids he looks at. If any of these are running low, you'll be written up for it by the DOT.
We don't like RSI violations, do we, Charlie?
No, we do not. We do not like those violations. This is where you're going to see problems in your tires. Mostly is on your outer edges because these are your cornering edges. And what will happen is this will get down to a bare band. You'll see white bands in here and white bands in here. If that happens, do not drive your truck because you're looking for a blowout. Your rear tires, the same thing. Look at your outer edges. Everybody loves to hit curves. Here, I could probably show you a curve here. Your most common curb strikes, as you see, it starts here and comes all the way around to right here. And that is from a driver turning on a left turn and not coming forward and making his left turn so that he's in the proper lane for a left turn.
Improper pivot point, right?
Yes. Miscalibrates the pivot point completely. This set of tires should never cross the white or yellow lines of the oncoming lanes from your left. If they do, you're in violation of the law. Point blank, it's a violation of the law. It's failure to maintain marked lanes. So keep that in mind. This is your pivot point. This is your swing point. You always have to know where the pivot point is compared to the swing point. If you are turning right, this will swing into everybody on your right at your pivot point. So if somebody's directly beside you, do not turn right till it's clear. Start edging yourself right, or take the lane. Own the road, you're a truck. This is an ICC bumper. At all the stations, they have a grab hook that does this damage. Amazon knows about it. We've discovered it. Nobody knew when they first got these trucks. You must adhere to the rules of red is stop, green is go. If you pull into a dock at either Boss 4 or Boss 5 and that red light is flashing, do not dock your truck. Stop 4.5 feet away, and you have a choice: shut your truck down, go inside, unlock the door yourself, or contact your lead drivers who have contact with the warehouse, and we will ask them to unlock your door. When you get a green light, that is the only time you can back on a dock. Anytime before that, you will destroy that ICC bumper. This is different from the Peterbilt.
Okay.
This is a Freightliner hood latch. I'm going to show you two things rather quickly on this one. Is you snap this up and bring this that way to the hood. But when you go to close these, and you're going to put this in here, keep these fingers up. They will snap in here. You hear that?
Yes, sir.
That will catch your fingers. Okay, so always make sure your hand is never here. It'll break your fingers.
Yes, that latch looks more like the 24-footers we have at
Yes, it is.
the station.
Okay, so then again, over here, as you see, it comes up easy enough, but going back down, it's strong.
Yes, sir.
One of the other things that this has that the Peterbilts do not have is when you bring this hood up, you'll feel a little tension with this hood. Okay, now I'm going to show you something. This hood has no lock because it doesn't need it. I'm going to show you this now. Now it's harder to push back. Now watch.
Hydraulics.
The hood closes itself.
Nice.
You don't have to push it until it gets to the very end, or you'll over push the pistons. And this is what I've showed everybody. And just so you know, I'm not only the senior lead driver, I'm 40 years experienced, and whenever I take a brand spanking new truck, I take the owner's manual home and I read it front to back 2 or 3 times to make sure that anything that I talk about, I know what I'm talking about and I'm not speaking out of turn. So again, pushing the hood. Now it's secured to latch it, but we wanted to show you the difference in the engine compartment. As you see, it'll give you tension to come back to you because it's making sure that this hood cannot close on you. Even with the wind, we're in a high wind right now. Now, on this one, you're looking at the same things, but what you don't have. You don't have a CNG scrubber, you have a Detroit fuel filter. This should always look full. If it is empty, do not start the truck. And the way you know it's full is by this white line right here. Shows you that everything below that, that's all diesel fuel, all the way up into this nice filter. Okay, power steering fluid, a little bit different. These ones only have a max fill. Doesn't have a hot and cold, it's a max fill. Should always be in this area right here for max fill. Okay? This is where you fill it, not here. Don't ever take this off. There's never a reason to ever touch this. This is a return line. If you mess with the pressure from this return cap, it will never return the fluid back from this pump the way it should. Okay. On here is your dipstick for the Freightliner. Same deal. Here's your lock. You turn the lock and you pull the stick out. Now you just saw that flexed and spun to me. It's gonna do that even when you put it away. So you're gonna push it in, then turn and lock. That's the difference between this and a Peterbilt. Okay, same thing. We'll go on that side because everything's on that side instead of up top. This line right here, that is your full line. Don't go above it because it'll cause too much pressure on this system. Washer fluid, as you see, is here. It's full. That'll take 1.5 jugs. You don't have to go up into the neck, just right here. And that way you have no spillage. And that's good. And as always, like we did with the other tires, as you see, these are brand spanking new. There's no damage, no rubs. Oh, I mentioned to you about your side sensors. These trucks have a very sensitive system. It is right here, this big piece right here. This covers a wide angle from the nose of the truck, watch this mud, to about right here on the roadway. So that anytime anything breaks that beam, you'll know there's something to the right. Do not ever move the truck to the right when that is alerting you. Okay. Because you will hit something. Yeah, watch your head from the mirrors. Always get caught in the mirrors. Okay, and as I was telling you about closing these hoods compared to the other hoods. Bring it up, it's gonna give you a little fight. Let the hood go on its own. As soon as you see that it's touched, which goes nice and easy, you know, guys, oh God, I gotta get going on the road. It's like, no, you don't. Let it drop to that point, close it in place. Now, as I said, and watch this carefully, this is your lock tab. Secure your tab here, get your fingers out of the way, bring it over. Make sure these are perfectly lined up or it'll pop up. And again, your driver's side, same thing. You're going to bring this forward, click here, keep your fingers out of this zone. And you just heard that snap. That will break your fingers. DEF only, new Freightliners. This tough funnel, same thing, DEF only. Internationals. If it makes it easier.
I kind of feel like you should write that on them too, with a magic marker or something. No, I meant like international.
Oh,
you know.
yeah, well, we could, but it doesn't stay on there. You know why? These are chemicals.
Yeah, true.
Chemicals rub it right off.
Yeah.
So unless you were going to do a sticky label.
Yeah, we could do like a a label maker type thing.
But this is the new Freightliners.
Okay.
Because the DEF fill is actually under the box.
Okay.
So this sticks out and you just pour from here. Like
Gotcha.
this.
Yep.
And you can pour it right in.
Okay. Might have to get a look at that.
Oil only.
Black oil. Black equals oil.
Black equals oil.
We keep them in these boxes here.
We keep them in these boxes.
Okay.
We stand them up to drain into a rag.
Yep.
Because we don't have any drain thing. That we use in all the CNG trucks in the new Freightliners coming over, because they all use the Cummins motor. And this is the only oil you can put in there. If you don't know what to use, do not use anything. Contact your lead drivers and they will tell you exactly what to look for. Please do not put anything but Cummins approved motor oil. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to add oil to the Peterbilts. On the Peterbilts, your oil fill sits behind your intake line, which is right here. Light turn, and your cover comes out. Place your cover to the side where you're not going to lose it. Black filler is for the Peterbilts. As you see, it sits perfect. Then you would take your jug, you would open it on your dipstick. I will show this to you again, just for safe sakes. As you see, that's a full dipstick, beautiful, clean, a little milky. Midpoint of this is always 2 quarts.
Midpoint, 2 quarts. Copy that.
Midpoint is always 2 quarts. As you see, that's equal on both sides. So this is a full system. This just came back from Peterbilt, so it was serviced. Then you would take this, you would open it. Now let me show this to you. On the back side of the handle. 1, 2, 3, full. 4 quarts equals a gallon. If it only needs 2, you would come down to the number 2. If it needs 1, you'd come to the number 3. If it needs the whole thing, give it the whole thing. If it needs 3, you stop at the number 1. Never use the whole bottle, never overfill. That blows seals in the truck. And all you'd have to do with this is hold it gently, turn it to the side when you're going to pour it into the funnel. And pour nice and slow at this rate. At this rate, it won't overflow and come back up at you. It'll just gently go in. And then when you reach the desired level that you needed, put this down, take the cap, put the cap back on it. That way you don't knock it over and spill it. Then you would get, hey, what happened to my rag? You take my rag. All right, let me show you. Be right there. Hold for 2 seconds. There it is. So now, as to not put oil all over here, as you would take this funnel out, you would follow it with your hand and secure it like this. And then we have a special place in there where box that has rags in it that this will sit in to drain off any excess. Don't just take it in the office and throw it on the floor. You'll put oil everywhere. And there's that milk I was talking about. That's in that tube. We just got this back from service. Then, after you have done that, you will re-pull your dipstick. Again, you'd reach in back here, unlock, pull up, and bring it to you, and you will see that you are full. And that's where you need to be before you go on the road. Always clean it off before you put it back in. And then place it down here, slide it down, line the lock up, and turn it towards the cab of the truck, and it will lock. Then take this, and you're gonna put this back in place. You'll feel it, just spin it. When it stops, do a quarter turn and stop. And that is all nice secured, and you don't want to over tighten these. If you over tighten them, the next driver who has to take that off will end up pulling the filler tube, which sits right below it, which is also screwed in to the oil receiving neck. And if that ends up coming undone, you break the seal. If you break the seal, the truck is out of service. Then you have to notify your leads right away, because we have to put you out of service until we can get a new seal put on.
All right, and that is
how you do a Peterbilt.
Peterbilt. Right.
Oil fill. The M106 Freightliner, all your Freightliners are set up literally the same way. For this to put oil in it, you have to step between the tire and the body. So as you know, normally what I want drivers to do, there's a set of chocks in on your front. You must set them in between the back tires. It'll go around to the back and then up to the front. That stops it just in case anything just might happen. I'll even show you how to do that. But this is your oil fill. Never put pressure on this one component. So if, again, you saw the black funnel, you can place the black funnel in here. These are a lot more to come off. And unlike the Peterbilt, they have a beautiful ring on it. Nothing gets in there. Take this cap, place it here. As I said, you'd pull your dipstick, you'd check your level. As with the jug has 4 quarts in it, which is 1 gallon. If this dipstick tells you you need 2 quarts, as a matter of fact, let me show you something. This truck is still very hot, so I'm being careful. This is old oil. And I don't mind, these are my grub gloves. But let me show you on this dipstick. This is what Freightliner has done for you. If you look at the dipstick, it says add 2 quarts from this point to this little point right here. That's 2 quarts of oil in these. These take 18.5 quarts.
Wow.
Per truck. So if it's at that point, says it needs 2, it would be half of one of those bottles. And we showed you yesterday what oil is oil specific to these trucks. And that is the fully synthetic 10W30.
Copy that.
Okay, and the same reverse procedure. After you put your 2 quarts in, you've checked your stick, you must put this back in. Make sure you set it perfect. As you spin it, see, it will refuse to go for you. Just lightly turn it until it grabs itself. Once it grabs, keep turning. Now this one is different from the other. This one, you need to listen for that click. See, once that clicks, that's it. It will allow you to go no further. And that is filling this one.
Excellent. All right, why don't you show us that chalk block real quick?
I'm going to show you that chalk block. Okay, these are your chalk blocks provided by Amazon. Anytime you're going to go to the engine compartment between the wheel, the fender, the back of your truck, these need to be put in place. You would place one here, make sure it's tight against the tire. You will take the second one, place it behind the tire, leaving this rope out front to pull it out. And that will stop this truck from rolling forwards or backwards if you're in any vicinity where this truck can roll and hurt you. That must be in place. Back out, make sure you're standing to the side. And the front, just pull up to you. And then place these back in your cab on your passenger side, so they're always readily available to you. That's it. This is your antifreeze jug. This is your overflow jug. This is where all the antifreeze goes from the engine.
And what kind of engine are we in right now?
We are in a Cummins.
But it's a
Freightliner.
Freightliner. Okay.
So this is on a Freightliner. This engine is in every Amazon branded truck.
Okay.
They're all the same. The only difference is that liter right there. This one here is a 6.7 liter. Some of them up there are only a 6.2 liter. Just a little bit smaller, same motor. Now, if this is hot, you just got back, never, absolutely never open this cap. The only time this cap is ever to be opened is on your pre-trip. If you are low on your pre-trip, which this is your max right here. Freightliner is here. Peterbilt will show you one more, but I'm going to show you something. See this coming up? See the steam? That will burn you, even now. Now that's depressurized, so we're safe to open. But you would open this up, and it even tells you on the cap, never open hot, pressurized system. Okay, place the cap up here where you're gonna see it. You would take your antifreeze jug, just like any other jug, turn it sideways, place the opening over this opening, and fill to this max arrow.
Now, because you have such easy, it's so easily accessible, you don't use a funnel, correct?
You don't have to use a funnel.
Okay.
Unless you're unsteady, then we can get an antifreeze funnel for the shorter guys.
Copy that.
And that way we can make a funnel like the gray one for DEF.
Yep.
It can have the scoop cup and they can pour into that. This, visibly, you see it coming up.
Correct.
Another system, you do not ever overfill.
Okay.
This is actually sitting up a little bit higher because this truck just came back. This truck is still hot.
Yep.
Once this system burps back in, it's going to take more to the radiator, and it'll be right here at this line.
Right. Okay.
Or if he runs his heat, and nobody's running the heat today,
That's right.
then the heater core will take it into the heater core and circulate it faster. Again, put your cap back on and listen for right there. And that's where you stop. Never over tight.
Roger that.
And on the Freightliners, this is your washer jug. On the Peterbilt, you saw it on the driver's side. On the Freightliners, it's on the passenger side. And it's the same fill system. Just unscrew it. These caps are nasty. They don't stay on. Do not lose this cap. Put it to the side. Pour your jug in. Again, watch it come up. You don't have to fill to the opening. Just fill to the top of the jug. And once you fill to the top of the jug, put your cap back on. And I'm going to show you this pour design here. You can actually lift it back up over all the way around. And when you go to take this off, it'll come off again.
Okay. So now we know the Peterbilt CNGs, they don't have DEF, but do they have a different system for the antifreeze, or is it the same like you were just saying?
It's just on the everything for the Peterbilt's on the driver's side.
Copy that.
Everything for the Freightliner is on the passenger side.
Okay.
We went over filling the antifreeze on the Peterbilt yesterday.
Copy that.
And you'll see that when you splice all this.
Yes, sir.
Like another thing, that this is your air dryer for your braking system. On the Freightliner, it's up here. So when you get that loud blow off sound, you're going to see it comes from the front end of this truck.
Okay.
On the Peterbilt, it's going to come from the back.
Okay.
Because the air dryer is in the center of the frame.
Copy that.
So here we have a Freightliner M106. The DEF tank is under the box. So the only way you can fill this one is you got to take your cap off here. Pressurized already. And this funnel. It says large engine funnel on it, but we will tell you this is the one for the M106 Freightliner for DEF filling. The reason why we have a big one is because it has to come up here and out from under the box. So being out from under, get your scooper down here. Make sure it's right there.
Yeah.
Now, when you open this, there's gonna be a protective cover in here so that you don't get it squirted on you. You reach around the corner here, you're gonna find an expandable funnel that sticks in here. It's terrible to get out. But they do rip open easy. You just take your papers and shove it back in the def box. Your caps that you gotta get off here. Okay, don't splash this in your eyes. Shove that down in there. This black piece must be inserted in the jug. So you make sure it's all the way in the jug and just spin it till it stops. And expand. Then you go pick this baby up. This is 2.5 gallons of DEF fluid. So you're gonna pick it up, make sure it's going direct to the funnel, draw back, and just let her rip. As you can hear that, it starts to go really fast. Sometimes it'll come up the funnel on you. Just bring the bottle down a little bit and it'll stop running up the funnel. Now you remember our little fun here, our little friend. The little black thing you're in there is a breather. Sometimes it gets in the way of the DEF coming out. So just turn the box so you get lower on fuel, on fluid. used to do, and I didn't think about doing it. They used to take my knife and punch a hole in the bottom once I had it upside down.
It's a flow faster.
It's the air vent.
Yep.
Because you know that little black piece that I told you has to be in here?
Yep.
Sometimes it gets right in the middle of the hole. Now you hear it doing that?
Yep.
That's because that black piece is there. That's a little air baffle so that the jug itself doesn't collapse.
Yep.
And once you've got everything through the main hole, it will all be done. Just turn the jug over, shake the hose off so you don't splash yourself in the face. This you throw away, this you throw away. Take your funnel, again, like with the oil funnel, put it in a rag, hold the base. Then you recap it, turn it, and she's nice and sealed.
That is filling depth.
And that is filling depth.
On a Freightliner.
On a Freightliner. And that ends a pre-trip inspection.